Welcome to the gutter. Let's talk about the trades today. First trade was GBE. It was actually my overnight breakout trade. And unfortunately, the breakout didn't follow through here. It tried to, and it just didn't. And I ended up jumping out at 216 for a small loss. Let's get into my day trades today. HMNA was on short watch for me, but also potential red to green watch. And actually, I did play the first red to green move here. I was in at 265. Now, I made a mistake here. I used a position size that was too big, and partly is because it was moving so fast. I just used the default order in my Thinkorswim, and I used a bigger position size than normal. Well, the bottom fell out of this right after I entered. It only reached about 272 here and then fell out. I ended up getting out about 240, almost a 25-cent loss on that stock, and on too big of a position size, so it was a hefty loss. But then what I did was I did turn around and go short here because it broke 240 support. So I turned around, went short, covered half at 206, waited to see if it would fall under 2. It didn't. Now, the ask was at about 211, and I was about to cover there, and then all of a sudden the ask went up to like 215, and then I got greedy. I didn't want to cover the rest at 215, so I thought, well, I'll wait to see if it comes back down. Well, it didn't, and I've made this mistake before. This is a low float stock, doesn't take much to get it going, and I ended up covering at my entry of 234, covering the rest. So even though I did profit off of that trade overall, I should have had a lot more profit, if I had taken off everything down here like I should have. But then I played the red to green move again. So here I had a nice green move here. I was in at 261. It was jumping all over the place, so I locked in some profit at 275. Then it went to test 3. I took off the rest at 295. So made up for most of my losses, but not all my losses at the beginning. My big trade of the day, though, was SOMX. SOMX was huge breakout on FDA news. They had a drug that was approved by the FDA. You can see the huge move here. When I first saw it, when it first came up on my scan, it was sitting around the high 6s. Now, so what I did was I wanted to wait for it to settle down. So obviously here you can see the big breakout here. And it hasn't really settled down yet, so I waited for it to settle down, and then it finally started to consolidate. And given that I knew it was pretty significant news, I figured that it had a nice base now and I could safely enter. So I entered at 642 here, set a stop at 616, pretty wide stop, but I kept my position size small. Then it kind of hovered around here. Finally, it started breaking back up. I actually took off a quarter of my position on this spike to 7 here at 704. Let more ride here. There was some resistance obviously here around 740, so I took off another quarter of my position at 740, but it just kept going. Then it hit 8. I took off another quarter of my position at 790, and then it just kept going. I ended up taking off the rest of my position off at 890, and it actually went all the way to 10. So really solid afternoon trade, had a really nice gain on it, and so I had a really nice profit for the day, my third nice profit in a row, third profitable day in a row. So anyway, I hope your trading was good. Thank you for checking me out at welcometothegutter.com.